Welcome back to The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest takes from the sports industry. So while taking care of business, let us flush out the details and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and today I'm going to be giving you guys 3 hot college basketball takes. Guys, college basketball is back, and I could not be more excited and more happy. We've already seen so many great basketball games. We saw 2 great games last night that I will be talking about a little bit today. We're seeing breakout freshmen. We're seeing teams from that you wouldn't expect being good or really good and surprising this year. And I'm going to break down some of that. I got 3 takes, and let's get into it. So my first one is for my Fighting Illini. I think David Mirkovic is one of the most underrated freshmen in the country. Right, you have AJ DeBonsa, you have Koa Pete, you have Nate Ahmet, you have all of these guys around the country that are right. You have the 2 guys in Arkansas, Acuff. Like, you have all of Darren Peterson. You have Caleb Wilson on UNC. You have so much talented freshmen in this country. I feel like Mirkovic is getting ignored, and he's doing insane stuff right now. Looking at ESPN, I was looking at his stats. He's averaging almost 17 points a game, 12 rebounds and 3 assists, and shooting 46% from the field. He's making this adjustment almost seamlessly, and I would say it's very similar to the Kasper Siakam Jonas jump that we saw last year with how successful he was when he was at Illinois and how he was starting to become a real superstar for Illinois last year. And I also think he's a walking double-double. He's gotten a double-double in 4 of the 5 games, and in 2 of these games they played top 15 teams, and he got a double-double in both of those. In the game against Bama last night, that obviously they lost, and in Texas Tech, he was able to prove his own. He didn't get that was the only game this season he hasn't gotten a double-double. And the big game that really put him on the map was, yes, it was Colgate, so right, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but he had 27 points and 21 rebounds. And that was the first time for an Illinois player to have 20-20 since 1972. That shows how rare what we're seeing this man do is. He is becoming a superstar, I think. I think he could be a superstar. I don't know if it'll be by the end of his freshman year, but averaging a double-double, he's 5th in the country, or tied for 5th in the country with 12 rebounds a game as a 6'9" guard. He's labeled as a forward, but they play him a lot at the shooting guard position. He's doing this as a guard and having a 20-20 game, especially now, where that feels like it's so rare, and it shows how rare. Illinois is a very good historical basketball program, and he was able to be the first person since 1972, and the amount of superstars that's been on this Illinois team. We talk about Yakin Jonas. We talk about Will Riley. We talk about Kofi Coburn, Ayo Dosunmu, Darren Williams. You know, there's so much talent from D. Brown. There's so much talent from this Illinois program, and none of them were able to do that except for this dude. And he also won back-to-back Big Ten Freshman of the Week for the first 2 weeks of the season. So that also shows how good he's been, as well as he's been the best freshman in one of the best basketball conferences in the country with Purdue, UCLA, Oregon, Washington. Nebraska is even a team that I feel like is going to be a sneaky team this year. Wisconsin's very good. Like, Northwestern is another solid team. It's a very good and deep conference, and Mirkovic has won back-to-back Big Ten Freshman of the Weeks, and I think he's one of the most underrated freshmen in the country, and I think you'll see that throughout the season. He'll start to grow in popularity, but right now, not many people are talking about him, and I think that you guys should really give him some attention that he deserves. The next team I want to talk about, or my next take for you guys, is UT Martin is the best mid-major team in this country, and they have proven it, and they're led by Andrea Mirkovic. I could be butchering that. One of their big wins was they beat UNLV in Vegas, 86-61 or 81, and Vukomirovic had 23 points and shot 8 of 10 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. He's their team leader. He averages 20 points and 8 rebounds. He's going to be one of those mid-major dudes that if the season ends and he keeps on playing on how he is, he's going to be one of those dudes that transfers to a Florida. I think he could be very similar to a Xavier Lee, how Xavier Lee was that sort of guy in the mid-major market last year that transferred to Florida and now is doing his thing there. But the reason why, and I tell people this when I'm talking about this UT Martin team, I would consider them the Illinois version of a mid-major team. Illinois is it's been very well documented. This Illinois team is a very diverse international team. They have a bunch of dudes. They have a dude from Montenegro, Serbia, Croatia, Greece, like all over. They have a dude from Puerto Rico. They have everyone from everywhere. And this UT Martin team, I think around 11 or 13 countries are represented on this team's roster, and that's what makes this team so interesting. They are mid-major, so a lot of these guys are not getting as recruited as a Mirkovic was, or a Jakin Jonas was, or an Ivasic was, or both the Ivasics, for example. A lot of these guys are coming here. They're not as highly recruited. Not many people know about them, so they're very under the radar. Like against Bradley, they were minus or plus 2,000 favorites or underdogs, and they ended up beating Bradley. They beat my Bradley Braves by I think 5 points, and that's the reason why this team is so dangerous, because you don't know with this team. Now they just lost to Florida State. That was one of their big tests early on in the season, but they were lost by 14 or 13. They were in that game. They're competing with Florida State, and I think they could win the Ohio Valley and make a run in March Madness. Like I wouldn't be shocked because of how deep this team is and the mid-major programs that they beat. I wouldn't even really consider UNLV a mid-major anymore, considering the Mountain West is such a great basketball program or basketball conference right now. And I would not say that UNLV is a mid-major. They were able to beat them in Vegas away. They beat Bradley at Peoria in Carver Arena. So they've done all this stuff. Yeah, they've won, and it's one thing to win at home, but it's another animal to win in the road in college basketball. And they've been able to do that 2 times to 2 really legit teams. So this team is very scary, and they have a bunch of international guys who have played professional basketball, who know how to play basketball and know how to play together, know how to spread the ball around. And Andre Bukimirovic is someone you should look out for, because he's going to be making headlines in March, and I really do firmly believe that. And finally, this last take was really solidified. I talked about the games last night. I was going to talk about them. This last take is really solidified by the games last night. I think Arizona is the best team in the country. Their key wins so far, and they are 5-0. And in these 5 games, 3 of these wins have been over top 15 teams. 2 top 5 teams at the time that they beat them. Their first win is obviously number 3 Florida in the first game day of the year. Then they beat 15 UCLA, and then last night they beat number 3 UConn at UConn. This team is scary. Koa Pete is a grown man, and he is a freshman. He is 265 pounds. He got 16 points, 12 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds against UConn last night. And then also in the season opener, he had 30 points and 7 rebounds against Florida. So Koa Pete is dog. And another dude that is still not getting the attention he deserves, Jaden Bradley, is one of the best guards in the country. I think he's an arguably top 5 guard in the country. He had 21 points last night and hit the go-ahead layup with around 16 seconds left. So, and against Florida, he was one of their go-to guys. So this team is, I feel like, constantly being underrated and undervalued and underappreciated because of the guys that they have. And you just look, right? You look at Koa Pete. He's someone that obviously draws a lot of attention, and it's deserved. But Krivas is another dude who can shoot the 3-ball really low. Is another one of those guys who is a really good international player and is now transferred over to a college game and has done it with real ease. And last night, 9 points, 14 rebounds. Arizona out-rebounded UConn by 20 yesterday. 20 rebounds. That is insane, considering that UConn is one of the most dominant teams in the country, and they were basically manhandled by this Arizona team, and that's what Arizona does. That's what Koa Pete, I think, brings to this team. And then you have Burgess, another top 10 recruit, to come to this program, and you have Jaden Bradley, who I've already talked about, who is a superstar and one of the best guards in the country, to pair with a dominant freshman in Koa Pete. This surrounding cast is legit, and this Arizona team, I wouldn't be shocked if next week in the AP poll rankings they're number 1. They have so many. 3 of their 5 wins are against teams ranked in the top 15. Florida right now is a top 10 team. UCLA is a top 11, top 15 team in the country right now. So they have wins against legit programs, and they've done it with real ease. The only game that was really, really close was that UCLA game. And other than that, they have not had much issues. And this team is scary, man. Koa Pete didn't play amazing yesterday. He only had 12 rebounds and 16 points, which is not great for him. This team's going to be scary in March once they start to gel, because they have not fully gelled yet, and I think they're still the best team in the country. So I'm really high on this Arizona team. I think they could really potentially compete for a national championship. Tommy Lloyd has built a really great squad, brought in a great recruiting class, great transfer class, and also retained guys like Jaden Bradley, who's been a good developing guard. And now this year he's having that breakout year, sort of like an Illinois guard. Terrence Shannon is someone I think of in his real second year on the mainstream of, right? Everyone knew he was good last year, and now this year he's taking that next step, kind of how Shannon did in his last year at Illinois. I think that's something that Bradley's going to be doing in his last year at Arizona. But guys, thank you for tuning in to today's episode of John, where we plunge into everything sports and flush out all the nonsense. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss another episode. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for sports updates and hot takes in real time. Join me next time on The John, your daily sports dump, where we'll give you guys the runs of rapid sports info. Until then, keep your game face on and stay regular. This is The John.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.